Hi folks, comic book creator and Lost in Space superfan Jeff Nicholson here with an episode that breaks down how the sets were laid out on Lost in Space. I've been a little obsessed with this ever since you could freeze frame the old VHS tape back in the 90s, but I really got to give credit to Mark Cushman and his excellent book series for the hard facts on what was what and where was where. So let's jump right in with the unaired pilot. This was shot on stage 15 at the 20th Century Fox lot, and even though it was never aired in its original form, almost all of the footage was reused in the series proper, so it all looks familiar, although there's quite a few differences, such as you can see the top of the ship. You can even see the side of the ship, something you're not going to see for the rest of the series. And since this was the original Gemini 12 instead of the Jupiter 2, there's no airlock, there are no pilot's chairs, there's no lower deck, no elevator, and the central astigator is up on a pole and through the bubble on the top. Occasionally they would put together one of these really cool matte shots combining the set with some either paintings or location footage. Then, when it was time for some shots elsewhere on the planet, they just redressed the sort of front yard area of the set, in this case the weather station, or for a night scene where they're out camping with the chariot. After filming those initial planet scenes, they could then flesh out the rest of the episode with some backdrops outside the window right there in the same lot, such as the Alpha Control exterior city scene, and the ubiquitous space panel that would be often seen in Season 3. And if they needed some movement, like an occasional asteroid storm, they could just put a blue screen backdrop out there and mat in the effects. On occasion, they got to do some outdoor shots in the Fox backlot. This was some leftover sets from Irwin Allen's Journey to the Center of the Earth. Here we've got the chariot in a jungle shot. You can always tell when they're kind of squinting in the sun on these shots. Meanwhile, the second unit was off filming actual outdoor locations, such as Trona Pinnacles, with people who were not the actors, Red Rock Canyon with the miniatures, the miniature chariot. So now on to Season 1, where the ship set was reassembled on Stage 5, along with all the changes that made it the Jupiter 2 proper. A lower deck set was built, not literally below the upper deck, but right next door on Stage 5. And Dr. Smith and the robot are added to the cast. The external planet set wasn't even set up yet, and they were in no hurry to get them stranded on a planet for the whole season, so enter the derelict ship episode, and we get to see the amazing full-size mock-up of the Jupiter 2 landing inside the ship. Also right there on the blacked-out Stage 5, right next to the upper deck set. So it's not until the third episode that we get to see the repeat of the crash landing on the planet. And with the rush of production, they still hadn't had time to finish the planet set out in front of the ship, so they just hung this mural painting around the windscreens, put an old tree out there. You can really see the lack of a yard on this semi-close-up here. But over on Stage 11, they took that full-size mock-up that we saw in the derelict, piled a bunch of sand up under it, and used that for the first scene of the robot exiting the ship. You can see the top of the ship again, and you can see the left of the ship, but technically it's that full-size plywood mock-up that does not have the real interiors of the upper deck set. Here it is again as they take off in the chariot, and a really cool looking set, and man, a lot of work for this set that was stricken and never used again. Looks great though. Then it's back to that sunny outdoor Fox lot so they can shoot some scenes to match them up to those used from the pilot. Finally, with episode 4, the upper deck set is moved from Stage 5 over to Stage 11 with that sort of half buried in the dirt look that we'll come to know and love for the rest of Season 1. The ship is also now pushed back more into the corner of the lot rather than sitting right in the middle of it. So it gives the front yard a little bit more real estate, but you're never going to see much farther than about here on the right of the ship. And then as you swing around the cyclorama, which is a big curved sky painting, you can see on the mid-level artwork a kind of a corner crease here. And on and around over to the other corner, you can see here. And then as you get to where the left side of the ship would be, you'll never see that side of the ship again because there's actually a driveway here where equipment and cranes and things can pull in from the roll-up doors on the side of the set. And then they would use the same set for when characters are supposed to be running around in other parts of the planet. But once you recognize those particular painting backdrop or that corner I mentioned, you can start amusing yourself how many times you're seeing the same part of the set. But they did continue to spice things up with that sunny moat area, at least in the first half of season 1. You'd see it often, as well as the occasional matte composite like we saw before. This is a really nice one. You'll never see these again in season 2. And starting with episode 5, they got an additional stage, stage 6, which they could use for these alternate locations, which has more of a sandy dune back painting. They first use it on that classic episode where the planet overheats. And they continue to use it for things like the drill site, or the alien menace of the week, or the alien friend of the week, or some really cool night scenes like this one. That's all for now. Let me know if you'd like to see another episode, and I'll cover seasons 2 and 3 on that one. Thanks for watching.